I'm Daniel Ross, and I'm here with Jim Cummings on the Toon'd podcast.
Oh, boy.
Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here, and if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, sitting here with the legend himself. How are you doing today, sir?
So far, so good. Everybody's happy. Daddy's rich. Mama's good looking. All that good stuff, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're sitting here in good old Missouri.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we've been out here for a little bit, and I heard a rumor on the internet, so you have to verify if this is true or not, but you came up with the voice of Darkwing Duck here in Missouri. Is that true?
It is true.
Yes.
It is true. And there are actual many native ducks here for inspiration.
Yeah. Was that actually part of your inspiration?
But it sounds good, doesn't it? So we're sticking with it.
It does sound good.
It's not bad.
Well, hey, we got a really good episode coming up for you today. We're sitting down with Daniel Ross. We know you're going to really like this conversation. But first, we have a couple announcements to make. If you didn't see last week our conversation with Townsend Coleman, I mean, I had a great time. How about yourself, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's an old buddy of mine from a long time ago. He's great guy.
You may know him as the voice of...
well, let's see. 125% of the Ninja Turtles. How about that? And he is also Waldo from Where's Waldo? You would have never expected that one. And, what can I tell you? He gets around. And if you sound suspiciously like the Tick as well, it's because he is. So, turtles, ticks, he's making his way through the T's.
And I found it fascinating that he said that at conventions, people are always so shocked to find out that he's the Tick. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What an iconic role and iconic voice. I mean, he's such a sweet guy, too.
Yeah, and he's got those great... those antler, what are the antenna? You got to love those. I always got a kick out of those. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was a really fun time. So if you haven't seen that episode from last week, go check that out. We got Daniel Ross coming up for you today. But before that, just a couple more announcements. Listen, guys, if you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please leave a like and subscribe because it tells the YouTube algorithm that you like this content. It'll recommend it more. It'll recommend older episodes, newer episodes, all that good stuff. And if you like this content so much that you want to see even more, good news. We have bonus content on Patreon. Yes, thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. Not only do you get bonus episodes, bonus content, there's also monthly giveaways. Last month, we just shipped out a whole bunch of merchandise.
Bunch of stuff.
Bunch of Jim's merchandise, T-shirts, keychains.
The whole
Shout out to the whole Cummings crew. Just
thank you very much.
Really fun stuff over there. So go check us out on Patreon as well. If you want some merchandise and you didn't have a chance to win the contest or you're not at the right tier on Patreon, good news. Jim Cummings Closet on Shopify has merchandise that you can buy. Darkwing Duck shirts, Winnie the Pooh shirts, all that good stuff. So check us out there as well.
And stay dangerous.
And last but not least, Jim, you have some conventions coming up, don't you?
Yes, we have to let you folks know. How about Birmingham, Alabama, VXV, and it's called the Iron City Comic Con. That's coming up May 31st, June 1st. So be there, May 31st, June 1st. But wait, there's more. The Riverwalk Anime Con in San Antonio, Texas. Beautiful place to go anyway. So come on down, and it's going to be perfect. It's in May 17th, 18th. Come down. Well, maybe we'll share a fajita. Who knows? It's just crazy enough to work. Or a hard-boiled egg, something.
And I almost forgot. Jim, you just had a brand new movie come out.
It just so happens that if you're anywhere on Earth and there is a movie theater near you, why don't you take the family, and I mean the family, and everybody, grandma, grandpa, the whole gang, and go see King of Kings. King of Kings. It is truly the greatest story ever told. And if you're not familiar with it, I don't know what planet you're from, but you're going to really like this one. The cast is amazing. I literally won't get into it because it's just like a who's who.
Incredible.
I mean, from James Bond to Uma Thurman to
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac is Jesus and Ben Kingsley. I mean, Gandhi's in it for crying out loud. What do you want? Anyway, you're going to love it. King of Kings.
Yeah.
So please.
Great movie.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that said, here comes the conversation with Daniel Ross. We hope you enjoy it. We know you'll enjoy it. For now, I'm producer Chris. We'll see you in the next one.
Ciao.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Before we get started, I just want to give a big shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. We had a good time the other day doing our monthly giveaways. Thank you so much. And if you don't know about Patreon, you can find bonus content on Patreon, extended interviews, even Patreon exclusive episodes. So go check us out on Patreon. And to you guys here on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. We've got a great episode coming up for you today. I'm producer Chris, joined as always by Jim Cummings, the legend.
Well, hi, everybody.
And today we have a very special guest. You know his voice for sure. Donald Duck, Lucky Charms, Leprechaun, Grimace, among many, many more. Daniel Ross, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Come on down.
Boy, I'm so excited to be here.
See? See?
That's got to be such a hard voice to do. Like, is there any pain or?
Oh, I mean, existential
Taxing?
pain, of course.
Yes.
No, it is taxing. It's not using my normal vocal
It's not
system.
it's not quote unquote a voice per se, is it?
Exactly. It's a mechanism.
It's a
It's a people trick.
yeah.
As it always was for me growing up,
Yeah.
until I moved to Hollywood and did something with it.
That's right. Yeah, me too. Now, did you when you were a kid, and the teacher called on you to say, because I'm terrible at it, but you would have actually sounded like you said something.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Like
I
when
did,
people
and I
went
got
in-
into all kinds of trouble with
Yeah,
that.
you too, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very naughty as a child. I did lots of prank phone calls and
Yeah.
made a menace of myself before I even knew that voice acting was a thing. So, yeah, but Donald
Yeah,
Duck
well, me
has
too.
always had a special place in my life, in my heart. I often tell the story about Mama Duck, who you met many years ago. And she taught me when I was 3 years old how to do the voice. And so that
that's
was
so cool.
That was our love language.
Yeah.
No matter what was going on in the world, we would quack at each other, and it was just something very special. And so friends, family would always say, "Hey, do the voice." And so I would do it. And I loved seeing people light up and smile because there's a connection when you do a character. It's not just, hey, I'm doing something silly. There's a connection inside of all of us that I always found to be really special. And that's something you've connected with for
Sure.
many generations, including my own. So, very happy to have played the duck for some time.
Oh,
and won an Emmy,
absolutely.
if I say so myself.
Yeah, and and it's great because you can see people. I've said it before. Somebody standing there, they're 40 years old, 30 years old, and you do Pooh, you do Donald, and all of a sudden they're 5.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's really, really nice.
It's something I
and
didn't
their kids
expect.
get it too.
Oh, they do. Although you have to be careful because sometimes I'll do the Donald voice to somebody too young and they don't understand. And so I'll say,
Oh boy.
and they go,
Yeah.
I always say, now close your eyes. So
Yeah.
then they can hear it first.
Yeah.
And then they understand.
Yeah,
But,
I've
yeah.
got that with Taz. Oh, you can't do it with the lip.
Well, Taz is a favorite, and you and I actually worked on a game called Multiverses, where you were Taz, and I played Gizmo, Stripe, the Brain Gremlin from Gremlins 2, and Uncle Shagworthy. Had a bunch of
Yes.
characters.
Shagworthy.
That's right. Uncle Shagworthy at your service.
So he's worthy of a good shag.
Yes.
You got to watch out. You got to pick your audience on that one.
That's very true. A very obscure Scooby-Doo character who was from, I think one episode in the 70s. And Casey Kasem did the voice, and he sounded just like Shaggy. So we had to do a new version, and coming up with that voice was just so much fun. In the script, they kept using the word like. Just like Shaggy would. Like this, like that, like Scoob.
Like, wow.
So I'm like Uncle Shagworthy at your service. Like you gremlins better not be after my jewels. And it just came out.
like
And it was
jewels.
so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we even did, I think for the Brain Gremlin, he tries to communicate with Taz in one line. And so he does maybe you understand
Good
this,
luck.
old chap. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you ended up,
Yeah.
you got to do that. And you got to get that bottom tongue going, because that's where the resonance comes from.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the Tasmanian punctuation.
Taz does not do books on tape, so fear
well,
not.
he should. He really should. And they should be very durable.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Taz, what was that?
You're
That
going to
was-
break me, man. I'm just like,
that's-
wow.
okay,
That's
never mind.
incredible.
Imagine Taz is like one of those people announcing the train stops. You know, the voices that you hear on the train.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Next stop.
Yeah. Mel Blanc did do that as one of his characters.
Yeah.
On the train, whenever they were on a train. The next stop, Anaheim,
yeah.
Azusa, and Cucamonga. And I don't recall, and he was, I don't know, just some train guy, whatever they were called. The
Conductor,
conductor.
announcer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He was everybody.
They used Seth Rogen up in Vancouver on the SkyTrain for a little bit because he's a Vancouverite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they used
was
his
that like?
voice. Next stop,
Next stop
Hastings.
is. I can't even imagine.
That's funny. Yeah, well, he might be doing something with Darkwing, right? We may be. Who knows? Who knows? Said Jim knowingly. Okay, now we're going to change the subject. And then we said the first project you and I worked on was, you were Donald and I was Pete. Mm-hmm. And that was Chippendale's Nutty Tales. Nutty Tales?
Yeah, that was one of them. Although
That
that
sounded like
actually
Naughty
that
Tales.
came after Roadster Racers. It was one of those little interstitials. They did short episodes. But I will never forget. After I was cast in this role, my life completely changed. It was one of the greatest things that had ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And it came at a time, again, with that connection with my mom, where she had just gone through a bout of breast cancer. She was in remission. And both our lives had been turned upside down. And so that news changed everything. And I got to bring her out to Los Angeles, to Disney Studios, to see all the handprints and, to meet some people and meeting you. And that sparkle in her eye that had dissipated after so many years came back.
Oh, look at that.
And that was something so special to me. But for Roadster Racers, the day you and she met and you and I met, we were at a party at Debbie Derryberry's, mutual friend, and she was throwing me a birthday party. I was very happy.
Yep.
And I went up to her and I said, "Hey, Debbie, Jim is here. Can I tell him we're working on the same show?" And she's like, "Of course, go talk to him." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy is my childhood," as you often hear from everyone.
Yeah.
And so I build up the courage and I walk up to you with all the confidence of a snail. And I said, "Hey, Jim, we're working on the same show together." And you're like, "Oh, that's great. What are we working on?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Mickey and the Roadster Racers." She said, "What are you doing?" And I said,
Oh, well, I'm doing Donald.
and you looked at me with this
Yeah.
curious look
Yeah, I
and you
remember, yeah.
said, "That's the best I've heard since Clarence Ducky Nash. Congrats,
Yeah,
kid."
yeah.
And you said, "Give me some more."
I understood what you said.
Well, you
Always
broke
a
into some
plus.
Pete, and
Yeah.
I'll let you do that. But you basically said, "Oh, quackers," and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to call. Yeah. I've kind of ruined the canon, Disney canon. I call him Mickey the Mouse.
Yeah.
And now I see it in print from completely other thing, and good old Quackers.
Yeah.
Quackers Duck over there. What the hell did you say? And that's.
well, that was the shtick. What do you say? What do
yeah,
you say?
Yeah.
And so, we had that little exchange as you as Pete and me as Donald. And I said, "Thanks, Jim. Man, it's so great to meet you." And I proceeded to walk to my car and shut myself in and wept like a man.
Oh, jeez.
Because that was so incredibly special to me.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
My
Wow.
goodness.
Wait, something you just said made me think. Was that a trope for Donald Duck originally that you couldn't?
Yeah.
That he was unintelligible?
I don't know, but
Like the
it was an
teacher from Charlie
occasional-
Brown or like Kenny South Park? Like,
Oh,
was that like
yeah.
a trope that they
I
were
think-
going for? Or was
I don't
it
think
just.
it was quite that.
I don't think it initially started that way. I
Yeah.
know from my research and connection with the character that Walt wanted someone who could do the things that Mickey couldn't in certain ways. And when Clarence Ducky Nash came up with that voice, it took on a life of its own. And so I think as time progressed from The Wise Little Hen in 1934, it became a thing. Like, we don't understand what he's saying, but we love it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really what stuck.
I've gotten that into, I know at least one show because, this is back a long time ago. But, and Pete and Donald were doing something or other, and he goes, and the line was, but the line was, hey, we got to get out of here. And I said to him, hey, I have no idea what the hell you just said, but we got to get out of here. And he goes, yeah, fine, come on.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it works.
So as long as the point got across.
That's not bad buckle speech you got there, sir. It's like you're a voice actor or something.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Well, that's the technical term, buckle speech.
Buckle speech.
There's a pocket of air in your cheek that makes the sound.
Oh yeah, I didn't know
And then
that.
you use the front parts to enunciate and the back parts for consonants. So even saying the word Donald Duck requires all three with that K at the end.
Donald Duck.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just learned something. What was that called? What's it called?
Buckle speech.
Buckle speech.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
What the
That's
buck?
fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a whole
That's
thing.
good stuff.
Yeah. No
I guess they
kidding.
can't call it Donald Duck talk. There has to be a technical term.
Yeah.
Or Donaldicus Duckamus
What other voice would use with that speech?
So obviously there's been other quackers out there like Yacky Doodle,
Yeah.
Little Quacker.
The one the super cute little ducky.
Are you my mama?
Yeah, that
Are
one.
you
That
going
one.
to eat me?
And what was his name?
Little Quacker.
Little
from Tom
Quacker.
and
Yeah,
Jerry.
he was a cute one.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I did too.
Yeah, he
I got
was
to
very
play his
cute.
younger cousin in an episode of Tom and Jerry.
And
at
he was
one
an
point.
egg. Because he could have only been so much younger.
Well, he
'cause-
didn't have the affectation. He wasn't using the buckle speech. And I'm like, wasted opportunity here. But I was just happy to be in the room.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm always happy to be in that room.
Now, I always thought, I never intended to come to LA and play this character. I never even thought it would be in the cards because those roles, as you know, are like Supreme Court nominations. You're in for life. And so I was thinking of other ways that I could use the voice. And I'm like, I could bark like a pug. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll have use of
never
that
know.
someday.
You never
Or,
know.
You know, whatever else might pop up.
Yeah. Well, I invented my little, and it's either a dolphin or a squirrel.
Yeah.
You know, so and I don't even know what that is. It's just something I used to annoy my parents with.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
If you're not annoying your parents, what are you doing with this talent?
Yeah. What are you doing with this talent? Yeah.
My dad always wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer. He was a doctor. He was a dentist. And so very, very left brain. And he didn't understand all of this, but he supported me. Anytime I had a play in school, he would always show up.
Oh, yeah.
He'd say,
Yeah.
well, you got to think about what you're going to be doing later in life. You got to think seriously about it. And I'm like, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the same thing. And my dad would say, yeah, but it's fine. But what are you going to do for a living?
Yeah.
What are you going to do for a living? No, I'm going to do that. Okay, but how are you going to pay the bills with that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, put it this way. Why starve doing that? Don't you want to have something to fall back? And I get that.
Yeah.
I get that thinking, being a dad now and a long time. But if you don't have anything to fall back on, then maybe you just have to put your eggs all in that one basket and guard the hell out of that basket.
That's right.
And make that one, if you're going to go for it, then do it and do it so well that somebody will pay you.
And look what you've done.
Yeah, and so far so good.
Well, so far, so good.
Yeah.
Was your dad around to see your success?
Yeah, he was. He was. God bless him.
How did that?
And it was interesting because Chuck McCann, the late great Chuck McCann, hi guy. He's a character actor, great guy, and he and I worked together dozens and dozens of times, and my dad, I flew him and my mom and I think who else? My aunt and Nan. They're all no longer with us, but it was so nice. And my dad said, "Wait, who's this guy? Who's this character again?" And I said, "Chuck McCann." He goes, Well, Christ, I know him. Where do I know him from? Where do I know him from? I said, Dad, you know this guy from everything. He's been in any number of movies. He was always like Second Banana.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys like a Tim Conway kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow, that's pretty damn good. And we're walking we did the show. My dad and mom were there watching. And then we're all walking to the car. And apparently he just, luck of the draw, he ended up parking next to me. And he goes, and he started bragging on me to my dad. He goes, let me tell you, this kid of yours, I'll tell you, listen, I've been doing this a long time. And this guy over here, you know, and without me expanding on that. And my dad, it was like, damn, Chuck McCann thinks my kid's okay. Maybe he's on to something. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough for Chuck. I can work with that.
What was that like for you, though?
In
that
great.
moment, to have that
it's great. Yeah.
validation.
Sure.
That's
huge. That's what it was. Yeah.
That's
what it was. Yeah.
I'm a very sentimental guy, so I love these kinds of these nuanced details.
Me too.
It means so much to me because this career and this work that we do means so much.
Yeah, to so many people.
It does.
Gets them through a lot of tough times, and I always cherish those stories. And and I've got stories that put you on your knees.
Oh, I bet.
Especially from Pooh. He's like everybody's security blanket.
Yeah.
You can wrap up in. You don't want to wrap up in poo. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. You guys get the idea, right? Okay, good. All right, I'll shut up. Okay, don't you shut up. Say something interesting.
Okay. Interesting? I don't know.
Perfect. That was it.
I was going to break into some Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well,
it's not as good as this guy, though. When I do it, people say, oh, you're doing Pennywise from It, right? Oh, Georgie, we all float.
Oh, God.
He's a hair step away.
That sounded a little like Aunt B.
Ooh.
Andy.
Ooh.
Say Andy.
Andy.
See, there's Aunt B. Aunt B.
Aunt B.
Yes. Oh, God.
I'll have to add that into the repertoire.
You started your acting career on camera, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So that was your first passion, was on camera. I'm gonna be that lead man. I'm gonna be the star.
It was in the direction that I wanted to be. I started in theater. High school was my first real introduction, and actually, no, I would say getting in front of my family and making a fool of myself when I was a kid, that was my first introduction to, I like the attention I'm getting.
Yeah.
And so, in high school, obviously I did theater. I studied Shakespeare. I won some awards. I performed at the Folger in Washington, D.C. in Elizabethan clothing. I think I did, it was Shylock's monologue from The Merchant of Venice.
Oh, wow.
If you prick us, do we not bleed?
Pound
If you
of
tickle
flesh,
us.
right?
Yeah. And that was, and I won an award for that. And so it was the first time I went, well, maybe this is something I should lean into. And so acting and the performing arts really became a solace for me in a time that was very tumultuous when I grew up. My family kind of split, and I ended up homeless for a very brief time. And when I would go to school, that was my escape. And I loved it for that, but I also really loved seeing how people were affected by the material. And I would know going to a movie or going to watch a TV show, like that was an escape for me. And I would feel things that I may never feel in real life, or see things that I may never have the opportunity to see. And to me, that was a spark of magic. And so I was drawn to the magic, and I said, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to affect the world positively. If I can take whatever nonsense and turbulence was in my life and turn it into something positive, then cool. So theater, I studied it in college, musical theater. Then I dropped out of college and started into TV and film. And I was an extra on a bunch of things, a stand-in. I got my SAG card working on a movie called Ladder 49 as Joaquin Phoenix's stand-in. It was a firefighter movie. And that was incredible. Wow. I was working full days at Target in the day, and then at night I would head out to Baltimore and I'd film overnight, then lather, rinse, repeat for a month. And that got me into the guild.
Oh, that's cool.
And you were on The Wire too, correct?
I was on The Wire. Yeah,
Yeah.
I worked on that a bunch of
That
times.
must have been so cool to be on
Nothing
that
of
set.
significance, but yeah, just being on set and
Yeah.
taking it all in.
For sure.
Because at that point in my career, I'm sure you remember this. There's a point where you're like, it's that magical beyond that you don't know about, but you get to touch it. And once you do, you get to peel back the curtain and see what's on the other side.
Yeah.
That was The Wire for me. And so, yeah, I worked on The Wire, Chris Rock's movie Head of State, or I met Bernie Mac.
Head of State.
Yeah.
Tell us a story about Bernie Mac, man. Rest in peace.
love
I
him.
love Bernie Mac so much.
Oh my! Hello, America. I used to love him.
He was
Oh my
great.
God.
His show was so funny. He was just such a funny guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Gone way
Yeah, he
too
was
soon.
amazing. No kidding. Yeah, I mean, I almost cried when the guy left us.
Yeah.
He was on it, but you
Some of them a bitch.
you were
Yeah, kids. No, he was incredible. He was very personable. I was just an extra for this movie. I wasn't doing anything of major significance. Later, I did some minor stunt work that ended up getting cut, of course. But yeah, I got to work with him, and I was standing I think I was sitting right behind him in a crowd scene, and in between takes, he was doing his thing. But he was very down to earth, and while he was turning on Bernie Mac to a 10 in his performances, what he told us is that he always wanted to be an actor and that comedy was his way into that.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really special.
wow.
And so, yeah, Chris Rock was great. I did this one scene where the villain of the movie, he runs into me and I flail papers and it got cut. But Chris Rock was going person to person and he's like, nice job. You did great. And he comes to me and he goes, ugh. And he keeps walking and I'm like, oh, goody. I've been acknowledged.
Yeah. He gave you
Yeah. It was like, ugh.
That's good. That's got
Thank
to be
you.
good.
Thank you, sir.
That's got to be good.
I'll have another, please.
I loved that movie growing up. And it's so crazy to think that wasn't even that long ago. And it was such a crazy concept to have a black president that they made a whole comedy movie about it. It was like, this is never going to happen. So,
yeah.
This is never going to happen. Famous last words.
Yeah.
yeah, great movie though. I love that movie.
But yeah, so I was doing that around the area and just kind of floating to production. And then my buddy and I was working at Blockbuster at the time as a
And this
store
is where?
manager. Back in Maryland. I'm
Back
from
in home
Maryland.
or here?
Yeah,
Okay.
back in
Back
Maryland.
in
That's where I grew up. I was
At
born in
Blockbuster.
D.C. and lived in Maryland. And so, yeah, at the time I was a store manager at Blockbuster. I think you had some history.
I was a Video Depot guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys were competition.
Yeah, competition. Yeah. Coast to coast.
That's wild. I mean, I was working at Target and then I bumped over to Blockbuster. I loved it. I got to work with movies and talk movies all day. Blockbuster didn't do so well in the long term. But I was walking around with my buddy, Justin, who we had done some independent films together and we became fast friends. And we're walking around one day and we're like, what movie isn't here? We should make our own movie. What an amazing idea. So we're walking around and we're like, we don't see anything. Let's make a movie called Ninjas versus Zombies. That's just the thing that came to mind. And so we did. We cobbled together a cast and crew and we maxed out credit cards and it was so lo-fi, but we did it and we accomplished it. And we looked at each other and we said, we should do another. We should keep going. So we made Ninjas versus Vampires. And vampires commercially
Ninjas don't get along with anyone, apparently.
No, they don't. They always have to fight
Jesus.
somebody.
God damn.
So the zombies didn't fare well, and then the vampires, that became our most commercially successful feature. We got it distributed worldwide, and I think in 2010 it was the most illegally downloaded movie on the web. Which
Perfect.
was great. We didn't make any money off of it, but great for saying that.
Nice trivia.
Exactly. And so we followed up with Ninjas versus Monsters and we left it there. We're like, we made a trilogy. That was fun. And so I kind of became a big fish in a little pond and I was working on different productions as a producer. But my aim was I want to be in it. I want to be in it if I'm going to produce it. So that's kind of what I was doing. And then after a series of events, I was either going to file paperwork to run for state Congress in Maryland, because I wanted to bring.
Was obviously a career choice.
Yeah, one of those things.
What the hell?
Well, there was a huge independent film community, including the folks who made the Blair Witch Project, Eduardo Sanchez, and so many incredibly talented people who would work out of Baltimore and D.C., and they were taking the tax credits away. And I'm like, well, maybe that's something I could help with. And then I said, well, maybe I could go to L.A. and Hollywood and take a stab as a voice actor too, because everyone keeps telling me you should do that. And so I made the choice to pack up my car and drive cross country. And within the very first year that I got here, Lucky the Leprechaun, Donald Duck.
Oh, yeah.
It was the most life-changing and incredible experience I've ever had. And quite frankly, I think the right choice.
Well, yeah. No doubt about that. I think you're pretty safe. Pretty solid ground there.
Yeah.
Lucky the Leprechaun, can you tell everybody who that is? Because I think there's a surreal cereal involved here.
Yes, there's a cereal with lots of marshmallowy goodness, lots of artificial colors and sweet and delicious. And when I was a child, I would pick out all the marshmallows and I'd mush them into a ball and I would eat the ball.
Yes.
And then it looked like I murdered a unicorn because the colors were just imprinted on my hands.
Yes. And were they, in fact, magically delicious?
They were magically delicious. They're magically delicious.
See, that's where I was going for. Left the duck guitar, the magically delicious.
Yeah.
That commercial was everywhere.
Yeah.
Those commercials.
They were everywhere.
Everywhere.
And so the day I started to book some work when I moved to LA, and everything was kind of going according to plan. I was working at Target overnight, managing all the trucks coming in and the freight going out.
Oh, the drugs coming in?
Oh, yes, all of those. The trucks specifically.
Trucks. Never mind.
The money at the end, that was my drug.
There you go.
And so I could feed myself. But there was a point where I started to book enough work, and I'm like, I think it's time to let go of working the 9 to 5 and health insurance and a steady paycheck. And so the day that I said goodbye and I drove off the parking lot at 8 a.m. exhausted from work, my agent called and said, you booked Lucky.
Oh, there you go.
And I pulled over my car and I went, I booked Lucky.
Yes.
I got lucky.
You got lucky when you got lucky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that moment was not lost on me to say, you made this choice, you listened to your gut, and you're being rewarded for that. And
I always say instincts are the best stinks.
Yeah. And they smell so good.
It's got to be the way to go.
Unless you've had lots of beans the day before. But so with Lucky, there's been several Lucky the Leprechauns over his, I want to say 60 years that he's been around.
You're kidding.
I did not realize it's been that long. Holy cow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I believe it's been about 60 years or just under, like 58, 59, maybe 60.
He invented cereal.
Yeah. Well, he's been around for long enough. And so when I had my turn as Lucky, they asked me to emulate or voice match Doug Prees, who was, I think, one of the longest running ones. The first one was Arthur Anderson, and there were a few more, and then Doug Prees had the longest run. And he had such a soft voice. It was a very soft voice, and that's what they wanted. So I was there to emulate Doug Prees. And because it was a commercial agency, the voice transfers from person to person. There's not always one person who does the voice. So I was fortunate enough to be one of the few, and it was just amazing. And people always ask me, do you get free cereal? And I said, no, they gave me money so I could buy the cereal.
Yeah. Besides, if I wouldn't have gotten Lucky Charms.
Exactly.
Sorry, but I just, shredded wheat. Never mind.
That's all you get. Okay, you get shredded wheat and grape nuts, and you'd be glad about it.
What was your favorite cereal growing up? Now that we're talking about it,
It was Lucky Charms.
it was Lucky Charms.
And I was never allowed to have it unless I'd go visit my grandparents.
Too sugary, you're going to be bouncing off the walls.
Well, my father was a dentist.
Okay.
And diabetic. Sorry, Dad. I'm spilling all the details. But so in our household, that was a faux pas.
Yeah.
And so when I would visit my grandparents, they'd say, you get whatever you want. And I'd say, I'm getting this.
I was a Sugar Pops guy.
Sugar
and
Pops.
Cocoa Krispies.
Yes.
Because then you had a bowl full of chocolate milk.
Yeah.
At the end of it, after you got all the Cocoa Krispies.
See, and I love the marshmallows. So for me, it was Count Chocula.
See? Chocolate.
I was Raisin Bran.
Ooh,
That's
you know
pretty,
what?
I was too. I liked
I
it.
loved the juicy little raisins, double
Yes.
scoop raisin bran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
crusted
that was
with
the best
sugar,
to me. Yeah.
possibly asbestos. It was delicious, whatever it was. But yeah,
I've always
raisin
had a
bran.
weird reaction to sweets. Like when things are too sweet, it's almost like a spiciness for like other people. You know, it's like it's too
Yeah.
sugary,
Yeah,
too
I
sugary.
agree.
I like the raisins or the ones you get with like the almonds and the granola all in it.
Oh yeah.
I love those ones, and they always market it as like the
Something
fit
for-
cereal. I'm like, that
Yeah.
just tastes delicious. Like,
Yeah.
Well, as a kid, you weren't going to choose those. You're
Yeah.
like, I want the one with the cartoon character and
no,
the
I
sugar.
really did. I really did.
That's what I want.
I really did go for the raisin bran. Like that was
That
my
era of marketing in
Oh, yeah.
particular.
They were
the
chock full of
toys.
sugar.
Remember they had toys in
Yeah.
the boxes. They used to have the toy at the bottom of the
God,
cereal
yeah.
box.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There were some cereals I would buy just for the toy. Like,
yeah.
I just want this toy.
I want
And
that
sometimes they
little
weren't
mini-
even good.
I know.
You get like, ooh, a sticker or like an octopus that'll climb down the wall slowly or
Yeah.
something like that.
That used to piss me off about Cracker Jack. First, they took away the peanuts. Big mistake.
What?
And then they instead of getting a toy in it, you'd get a sticker with a star on
Yeah,
it.
that's the worst.
Like, oh yeah, okay.
You ate the whole thing. You get a star.
Yeah.
I remember I got a they had a demo CD of Spyro, the video game, in one of the cereal boxes. Like a full-on like 15-minute video game for your computer was in the cereal box. And I just think that's so crazy to think about these
Wow.
days, you know, like they were just handing that out.
Yeah, no, they
Here
would do
you go.
DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
And like you get an episode of something
Right,
on
right.
DVD. But I'm of the generation, I still remember when McDonald's had in the newspaper, they had this thing where you play a record, and if it goes through the entire song where they read off the menu, then you win $1 million.
Really?
And so everybody was buying up papers trying to get that. So incentivizing you to buy something was part and parcel to my generation growing up, I think. All the commercialism, all the things I grew up with, the things I grew up with you with were, selling toys.
Yeah.
Selling
that's
toys.
true.
We're selling the product.
Yeah, well, they used to say that cartoons were filler for selling whatever it is they were selling.
Yeah.
They couldn't just put on commercials, so they threw a little slice of a cartoon in here to
Yeah.
shut the kids up
Yeah.
and make them pretend like they're not really there to buy cereal. Yes, you are. And all the while,
Yeah.
infesting your wee little brains.
I know.
Yeah,
and I
we-
never recovered.
We were just talking about this topic not too long ago. We went to Disney World. Jim had the opening of the new Splash Mountain. They remodeled
Oh,
it.
yeah,
They remodeled it to be, Tiana's Bayou or
Tiana's
whatever.
Bayou,
Yeah.
Princess and the Frog.
That's right.
Princess and
That's
the
right.
Frog. And we were talking about, we had the little Disney tour guide that Jim always gets, because he's a legend. And I'm looking around the park, and I mean, Disney World is so much more elaborate than Disneyland. It's just phenomenal. I mean,
Huge.
the avatar, the tree,
Bigger.
everything.
Yeah, that thing was.
And I'm
freaking-
looking
oh my
around,
gosh.
and in my mind, I just see dollar signs spinning, like how much all of this have cost. And then it dawned on me, I was like, all these Marvel movies and every TV shows, they're just advertising to get you to go to Disneyland. Like they are
Yeah.
$1 billion billboards to get you into the Disney brand. Nothing more. Like they make 100 times that money. They don't care about the movies and the shows. They want you to get into Disneyland.
Yeah.
At least that's my theory. Because
Yeah.
those parks are generating so much revenue.
Yeah.
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
Spend $1 billion on Avengers.
No, on a magic key. That's spend $1 billion on a magic key pass.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Unbelievable.
my first experience with Disney World was only a couple of years ago. It was after my mom had passed. She loved the movie Avatar. And we always said, someday we're going to get to go to Disney World and we'll go ride the ride together. And that never happened, but I went and did it for us.
Oh, there you
And
go.
so I went with a good
That's a
friend.
pretty damn cool ride.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just for the record,
So cool.
you get a
I
chance,
mean,
do it.
the second time I'm going to talk in this conversation that I wept at the end of that. It was so beautiful. And obviously the experience was very personal, but my love for Disney was Disneyland. I mean, that was Walt's vision and his creation, his first one. And so I like to just go and sit on the bench and take it in and people watch.
Yeah, me too.
As a small cog in the machine, to just be there and to take it in is really special to me. And now going to Disney World, I was blown away by the scope of it. And I'm like, this is like a billion, multi-billion dollar
You need a
machine.
go-kart to get around, or something.
At least. Could use a helicopter in some of the places.
Yeah.
Well, we would use, what was it, the minivans? The mini-themed vans that they have running around. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love going to the parks.
Yeah, me too.
And Princess and the Frog, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a really, really fantastic ride, and I hope it doesn't break down anymore. We were on the inaugural ride. We're all sitting there, and it's the whole cast, and we're having a great time. You were there, your mom, and we're all sitting around. Boom, beep, boom, beep, boom, beep, boom, beep, boom.
Oh no!
And we're sitting there.
And they have all the media. They have all the media doing the press and everything.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, and there's tons of media. There's tons of people taking your pictures, and Keith David sitting there going, "Okay, well, I'm about to get up out of here because it's about 95 degrees, and it was in Florida, and a little damp."
Yeah.
Little damp, And then Nika Noni Rose, she's trying to be cool. She goes, "Well, this is really, I gotta say, we have to get me out of here. I gotta, And you look great. It's gonna be fun." And then the stinking thing got it. We're finally moving. Stop 10 feet later for another 15, 20 minutes.
Oh.
So we get back and everybody's going, like, I wasn't driving.
Why did you slow it down, Jim?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. So, yeah.
One of the last Disney movies that was 2D animated, Princess and the Frog, that was in my Blockbuster store. It was in my Blockbuster store, and I kept recommending it to people, and it sat on the shelf, which broke my heart. It was so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Great movie.
So I was so glad to see them actually acknowledging
And they're
it.
going back to 2D.
I hope so.
Didn't we read that somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I saw something similar. I hope it sticks.
Yeah.
You know? I love 3D. I love CG, but it's no longer a novelty.
Mm-hmm.
It's the status quo.
And just leave it for video games. Like, video games are great storytellers
There
these
are
days.
2D video games too.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were just Colleen O'Shaughnessy. We were talking about the South Park game yesterday. And she does voices in there, and that's one of my favorite video games ever. It feels like you're in South Park.
Yeah.
It feels like you're actually a character in South Park, and it's all 2D. It's just like the show.
It's
but
great.
It's phenomenal.
And then you got stuff like Cuphead, which harkens back to like the Fleischer animation days.
Yeah.
I love the way that looks.
It's so cool.
What was it? Something in Cuphead? What was the other one? What's the whole name, or is it just Cuphead?
I think it's just Cuphead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I remember that. But I remember looking at that going, oh, this is like right up my alley. Uh-huh. It's got that look. It's got kind of like vaguely 1920s-ish, 1930s.
But even the voices and the feel of the audio itself, that tinny, nature of the microphones.
I just love it. I
it
really,
captures
really
that
do.
essence, and I love that. I love it when you can say, we're not going to do what everybody else is doing. Let's do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But your character in Princess and the Frog, remind me of his name again?
Oh, Ray.
Ray, that's right. I was so tickled when I saw your name in the credits because I went, wait a minute, that was Jim?
Oh, yeah.
That was Jim?
Yeah.
There's a reason I was like that. And it's because, Jim, you were the first voice actor that I recognized as a voice across different shows when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was Disney Afternoon, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin. And so I remember listening, Darkwing Duck. That voice sounds really familiar. I can't put my finger on it. Then I hear Don Carnage. That sounds really familiar. Monterey Jack. There's a through line here. And then I go to look at the credits and I see your name. And I went, wow.
Yeah, I've had a couple people tell me that, actually.
That one person is doing all these different voices. That was the first time I recognized that as just a regular person enjoying cartoons and doing silly voices. There's one person. Then I went back and went, and Mel Blanc did all the voices on, Looney Tunes and this. Here's Rob Paulson and here's, Jim and so many others. And that was like a light bulb moment that went off. So when I saw your name in the credits, I went, I got fooled because I think I can hear when Jim's doing his character voices, but that one fooled me, and I went, wow, he's still got it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Used to get me kicked out of class. Mm-hmm. That's what I always say.
You and me both, man.
Yeah. So much for that. Yeah, it's better outside in the hall.
How do you, obviously, you know your instrument better than anybody. And I think the biggest departure from your typical voices that I hear you do are things like Winnie the Pooh. It's just, it's so fundamentally different from everything.
Oh, yeah,
I've
well, good.
heard.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
And then obviously you do movie trailers and you know, you sing.
Yeah.
Gosh, when I found out you were doubling Scar in The Lion King and in Pocahontas.
Yeah. Hercules.
Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Yeah.
I'm
Anastasia was
picturing
a
my
huge
wall up there. Okay, who else is up there? Anyway, yeah.
Was Hunchback in there too?
I did like 2 or 3 characters in it,
Okay,
but no
not
singing.
singing.
No.
Incredible.
No. The great Tony J.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
What an
He
amazing
was a great
voice.
guy, yeah.
Him and Paul Frees.
Yes.
So those voices I just remember.
Do you sing?
I can. I don't get to do it very often, but I do. I just released a song on my socials. There's a musical, an animated musical that's in development, and they had a villain song. And so I was like, let me take a shot at it. And so I did. I love villains. They're so much fun.
yeah.
I did a cover of Toxic Love from Fern Gully with Hexus, Tim Curry's character.
Toxic love.
Toxic Love. That's where he's singing slime beneath me. Ooh, slime up above. Ooh, you love my toxic love.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was a little too good.
It was
You're Tim Curry. Yeah, Tim.
I was just doing it out of appreciation, but yeah, I love to sing. I love to sing.
Yeah, me
it's so
too.
much fun.
Yeah.
And we did some singing as Donald, which was difficult.
That's
I would
gotta be
think.
hard. Yeah.
That was tough. Like
Yeah.
holding notes. And I discovered I could add some vibrato to Donald. And I'm like, ooh, let's use this.
Wow, that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, I can't even. That's it. See, that sounds good. Very good. He's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very
Hole
much.
in one. My God. What the things that we do for love and art.
That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
I love what I do. You love what
Yeah,
you do. And I want to keep doing it for the rest of my life in any way that I can. And if it means I sing, great. If it means I do my own voice or I put on a voice,
That's
so
a good
be it.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one you just did.
The one I just did?
Yeah, that was a good
Do you,
one. Yeah.
do you still go for on-camera stuff?
You know, I really spent the past decade focusing entirely on voiceover. I believed that if I was to be successful, I needed to put everything that I had into it, every ounce of my creative being and my time. And that was a worthwhile gamble.
For sure.
And so now I'm at a point where I'd like to branch back out. I do miss the medium. But I was doing a movie 2 years ago called Stinky Summer. And it's like
Stinky Summer.
Stinky Summer. And I play a bad guy, similar to the bad guys in Home Alone.
Okay.
So the movie's like Home Alone, but at summer camp.
The Wet Bandits.
Yeah.
they were,
Yeah. And so the kids set traps for me and beat me up. And it was just so much fun.
The lovable oaf.
Exactly.
Bad guy.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
Gets arrested at the end. Ah, amazing.
Did they do the classic tarring and feathering, like Parent Trap?
They didn't quite have the budget, I think, for that, but similar.
feathers and tar?
Similar. I got covered in glitter and
See, there you go. That's the
poison
modern
ivy.
That's the
and
modern tar and feathering. It's glitter and butter.
I got hit in the face at one point, which allowed me to use one of my random people tricks. I can do this thing with my eye where I can just kind of keep this, around for a while and look around the room. So I was able to use that for the movie, and it was fun.
Rusey, God rest her soul. Rusey Taylor, the great Minnie Mouse friend forever and ever. She used to be able to look right at you, and I guess I'll do it to this camera.
Okay.
She'd look right at you, and here her eyes were going like this, and one eye would go like this, one eye would go like that. Then this eye would. Then she would do wall eyes. Then she would look. Then she would scare herself by look, and it was the damnedest thing. And I got a headache every time she did it. I said, "I'm getting a headache on your behalf. Stop doing that." You know,
Lucy.
and bless her heart, yeah. And she played. I worked with her a million times. Not to get off on a thing here, but she's such a sweetheart. And my favorite thing about Russi Taylor is, and I'll say this, and she has no. I'm not saying anything out of school. I mean, you know that. And she cussed like a sailor when she felt like it. Yeah. And to just hear this little angelic voice coming saying, "Oh my," and she was Mother Goose for it was the Teddy Ruxpin people, and I was a bunch of characters there, and she was Mother Goose, and there was a line that, and then the princess leaned over and kissed the little frog right on the tip of his little, and she couldn't get it. She couldn't get it. We all had to. We sat there for like 15 minutes, and she could, right on the tip, And I said, should we just leave? let's all. BJ War was there, and I go, you know what? We're gonna leave.
It was a group session.
Because we're gonna. Yeah, there was a bunch of people there. We're gonna leave. And you kiss him right on the tip of his little. I don't know where you were going to kiss. I think it was head. I'm pretty sure it was a head. Head. And so we went out, and then 20 minutes later, somebody came and said, "Okay, you guys can come in now. I think we got something we can use." And you're sitting in there with Minnie Mouse cussing her, just the greatest gal in the world.
Well, look, that's the privilege and luxury of knowing the people behind the scenes. Is, sometimes off camera, off the record, we may say some things that are funny in person, but we would not share.
Off Broadway.
Exactly.
Very,
now,
very
Russi, she gave me quite a gift.
All right.
The last time I saw her. We were recording Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures, and I had met her. Kelly Ward introduced me to her after a session, and I was overwhelmed, obviously, to meet her.
Sure.
And she had pink hair, on the back of her head.
Oh, yeah.
A walker at the time, and she was very sweet, but very, very short with me. And, she went about her day. I was just excited to be in the room and
sure,
suck in some of the energy. Like, yes, you're amazing. And she warmed up to me over time, and we would have conversation. But there was one time she poked her head out of the booth, and she goes, "Oh, Daniel, do the voice, honey." And I said, what voice? What are you talking about? She goes, "Oh, do the voice." And I said,
"Okay, what are we doing?"
And she broke out into Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yes.
She did those voices. And we had a whole conversation as Uncle Donald and the nephews. And
that's great.
To me, that was just, I was in heaven. I was in heaven. And it was the last time I saw her. It was the last time I saw her. So I will never forget that gift.
She's a sweetheart.
Me.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, her and Wayne. I remember the two of them when they got married. They did it on the down low because they didn't want. And I was thinking, why? I would let. Who cares? Mickey and Minnie got married.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I think that's okay.
Than that. Yeah.
One of the greatest love stories of all time.
Come on. Wait, you mean they really are married? They finally got married. He finally made an honest woman of her or whatever,
And Donald and Daisy are still dating.
Wow. Yeah, that's my Mickey Mouse. Wow. That's it.
Wow.
So you too. Yeah, everybody has that one.
That's pretty good, buddy.
Let's hear yours.
Oh, no.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. See, everybody can do Mickey.
And Christopher Walken's at home going, "Wow,
I
can't do Mickey."
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of impressions growing up?
Oh, yeah. That was the main thing. That was how I knew that voice acting would eventually be what I would get into, because I would impersonate the Looney Tunes characters,
or your parents, or that,
or
that
my
was
parents to get out of school.
Yeah, that was real
Daniel's
popular
sick
at my
today,
house.
and so he can't come in. And they're like, "We know it's you.
Yeah.
Stop it. You got to be here." Okay.
Well, see, I was popular with kids because I would, we'd skip school occasionally. And then my buddy Carlos Rosario, he said, you have to call the school now and be my dad. And I said, "So I have to be your dad?" And I go, "Yeah, what is his name?" And he said, "Oh, by the way, we're from Ecuador." And I said, "Okay, the equator? No, no, Ecuador." So I had to sound Carlos cannot be coming into school today. So and I thought, I'm going to save on to that. And then I twisted him into Don Carnage 30 years later. So, you never know where you're going to come up with the perspiration or the inspiration.
That's
for these guys, right?
I mean, usually we find something that we're comfortable. I keep bumping the mic. We come up with something we're comfortable with and then mesh and mush and put them together. And a lot of the times it's people we know in real life.
Yeah.
And
is
when
that
I
a
worked at
process
Target-
for you? Like,
yeah.
First thing you do is you look at a picture and then...
You try to see if there's something similar, or I usually go to the script first. I'll avoid the picture to begin with because I want to see what the acting part's going to be. I want to see what I'm pulling out of myself first, and then in my process, I'll incorporate the picture. Are they wearing braces, or what's going on with them? Do they have really like big cheeks, or what am I going to add to that character, or who do I know who has really big cheeks? Yeah,
Droopy dog.
That's right.
You want to know what?
Yeah. That was my cheat.
But you,
And then you don't even have to say anything.
That's right.
Because it sounds that weird sound.
Yeah. And that's all that I would gravitate to when I was a kid. I just loved the unique voices of the 80s in particular. And even like the McDonald's commercials, which Russi worked on as Birdie.
Yeah, Grimace and Birdie and
That's right.
whoever those other characters were.
Yeah, but the Hamburglar and Mayor McCheese.
Robble.
Mayor McCheese.
Yep. And,
What happened to all those goons?
Well, I voice Grimace now,
Yeah.
which is full circle. And I think there's only been 4 of us, including Frank Welker.
Wow. It's good company.
When he was doing his turn, I could tell it was Frank because he kind of had that Barney Rubble kind of thing going on, and he was it was just like, oh, that's a voice that I am picking up on, and it's just so strange that my career thus far has been a lot of these legacy characters, things that have come before. Yeah, I love it.
Well, that's nothing wrong with that.
Have you seen the Grimace like horror memes?
Oh,
where
yes.
he's haunting people.
Oh yes, I was.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so a couple years
Is it
ago,
like that Pooh movie or something?
It's more. It's not a full blown movie,
Not
but it's
Pooh,
just
Blood
like
and Honey.
little skits.
Yeah,
not Blood and Honey. That's
gosh, when I
we're gonna
saw
have to
that, I
beep
was like,
that
I
out.
can't wait to hear what Jim thinks.
we got to.
That's a forbidden name on this
Yeah, we
podcast.
gotcha.
We're gonna bleep that title
I
out.
gotcha.
Cut that out. Okay.
Zach, these are your instructions. Get that out of here.
Get the hell outie.
There were a couple years ago, there was a trend that popped up on social media with the Grimace shake. So McDonald's was offering a purple shake to celebrate Grimace's birthday. Harmless, fun,
I
amazing.
thought you meant like that kind of shake.
Yeah, not that kind of shake. No.
No, not that kind of shake.
The kind
Other
that
kind of
apparently you pour all over yourself, because that's what people ended up doing.
Oh, good.
And so I was
Not in
grateful to be voicing the character for a couple TV spots, and just excited to be playing a character that I know from my childhood. And all of a sudden, online, I started getting messages. Why did you kidnap my family? Give me my dog back. Why did you burn our house down? Please, Grimace, stop. And I'm like, did I just get canceled? What did I do? It became a thing where people would drink the shake and then they'd come up with all these creative ways to be dead with the shake poured all over themselves. And
This is true?
This is real. It's real. And so,
wow.
yeah. And there were some really creative takes. Even some celebrities got in on it. And
It was really funny.
it took, I don't think anybody at the PR firm for McDonald's knew that this was going to happen.
No.
But yeah, so then it turned into, well, no, we need justice for Grimace because he didn't commit these crimes. And
Wow. I missed this whole shebang,
it
apparently.
was wild. It was
Yeah.
wild. So
Jesus.
I was just grateful to be earning a paycheck and playing a character that I adore. And here it took on this whole other life. And I just think it's funny to this day.
Yeah,
It tickles
well, what
me.
the hell?
Tickles me purple.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yes.
I just
a lot
always
of fun.
I just always remember this one video somebody made, and it was like Grimace like out in a field, and it was like edited like The Ring, and it was like getting closer with every jump cut, and just so silly. The internet culture is so funny to me. It's
And yet, McDonald's made money hand over fist because people would go in, they'd buy the shake, pour it on themselves, and leave.
yeah. This is such a tangent, but I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it up anyway. Speaking of purple and McDonald's, did you know that like every country and even cities have like different menu options for McDonald's?
Yeah.
I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and you know the little apple pies they have? They had, I still don't know to this day what it was called, but it was like the same little apple pie, and then they have like this berry delicacy that's like kind of bitter, kind of sweet, and it's bright purple. Like, I'm looking at the menu outside, you know, they have the pictures, and I'm like, what is this apple pie with like, it almost looks like, you know, purple like flubber. Like it's like, looks almost radioactive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to try this, you know, I have to.
Yeah, you got it.
That's always one of my things. Whatever country I travel to in the world, I always go to McDonald's. I always get one of their local items, you know, like whatever's specific to that region.
Yeah.
And I always get a Big Mac because I have to see what the difference between every Big Mac is.
Now, is there a big difference country to country Big Mac?
Yes, because every country has different like laws of what you can put in the food, what you can use as substitutes, blah, blah, blah. So they actually do taste vastly different, at least in my opinion, as a Big Mac connoisseur.
When I was in Japan.
So they have different types of sawdust in the
yes.
Big Mac.
Sometimes it's oak tree, sometimes it's pine.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Sometimes delicious lead, maybe some paint chips.
Ooh,
Ooh, get a craving. But in Japan, the first time I went to Japan, I went to McDonald's, and their menu was completely different.
Yes.
And not only are the ingredients sourced so clean in Japan, like every bit of food, even fast food, is like gourmet. But they had such unique options for their items, and I wanted to try them all. I didn't have time or the stomach, but man, it was good.
Did you try that? I was just in Tokyo last year, and I had to try, I don't know if they had it when you were there, but it was the Egg McMuffin, but then they had a grilled mac and cheese patty in it as well. And then there was like a sweet jam spread over it. It was like a brownish jam. I don't know what fruit. And it was like the best Big Mac. I mean, not Big Mac, Egg McMuffin I've ever had. Like that mac and cheese patty, like they baked like mac and cheese and then they like squeezed it into a patty and like deep fried it and then put it on an Egg McMuffin. Oh. It was so good. It was so good.
Ooh.
They out-American America with that one.
Anything you can deep fry.
It was. I think I had it every morning. I had it the first morning I was in Tokyo, and then I was like, "Oh, this is better than an Egg McMuffin." I don't care what else is on the menu.
Take a 6-pack of those home with you.
Well, I mean, my first experience was going to the convenience stores. Have you been to Japan? I'm sure you have. Never. Oh, what an experience. Everything, all the food is incredible. The people are wonderful.
They love Winnie the Pooh. They love Winnie the Pooh.
Love Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. You do gangbusters out there. But I go into 7-Eleven to get an egg sando, you know, and try some of the food. It's all gourmet. Some of the best food I'd ever had. And I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm in 7-Eleven.
Wow.
I ate so much at the little 7-Elevens, and they have the vending machines, but with hot items.
Yeah.
Like you can get like a hot tea, a hot coffee out of a vending machine.
You want soup?
Or
Go
the
to the vending machine.
The little pork buns. They have the little pork buns right there, and it's like the best pork bun you've ever had, and it's in a 7-Eleven.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah,
My go-to was the pizza bow.
I know those.
They had a pizza bow
yes.
at 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
a bow bun.
Yeah.
So good. I want to go back
that's
now.
it. That's what it was called. Yeah.
See, we got to book it. Pooh and Donald goes to Tokyo.
Yeah. The very first thing I saw when I got off the plane is a big banner, and there's Winnie the Pooh, there's Mickey, there's Tigger, and I took a picture. I was like, Jim, they love got you like a couple. I got you like a jacket with Winnie the Pooh embroidered on the back out there, and like a nice little sweater. Yeah.
Incredible.
Loved it out there. Anyway, let's bring it back to voiceover. Have you ever voiced any Disney voices? Have you worked with Disney at all?
Disney?
Let me think.
I need to think about that. Yeah. I've voiced a couple.
Wait, it's coming
for
back to
Disney.
me.
Yeah, mostly Donald.
Yeah.
That was my intro into Disney.
I meant
Other than that, mostly side characters on the show, because when we go in, we do our main character and then a couple, side characters. That's part of the deal. And so it was an opportunity for me to enjoy being a utility player and show myself off a little bit. And so the more that I did, the more they said, okay, we'll get Daniel to do this. Because normally it's you and Bill Farmer and Corey, who would do the side characters, Corey Burton. So more and more they would bring me in for some of the side characters. And we did The Lonely Ghosts. There was an episode with the Lonely Ghosts, and I got to play one of the ghosts. And that for me was like, oh my gosh, I'm tapping into that thing again where I get to do something so cool. But any day you get to work for Disney is a great day. For sure. So,
I agree. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Sure.
Yeah, nobody knows better than I. I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful. Got to stay grateful. Got to stay humble.
And I bet they're grateful for you.
Yeah.
Well, that goes without saying. Oh, no, wait. That wasn't very humble, was it? Okay, I take that last one back. But a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing that little Disney logo on the paycheck is so cool, huh?
Yeah. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I worked on one TV show for Disney, and that was like the coolest thing to me was like seeing that little Disney logo on the check. I'm like, this is from Disney. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, so cool.
Yeah. Walt knew what he was doing.
He sure did.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a true American icon, a pioneer of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what an empire. And it all started with a mouse. That was my bad Walt Disney, by the way.
I have no idea what he sounded like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to go visit his childhood home in Marceline. I have a con in Kansas City, so I'm going to take the drive
this
to
weekend?
Marceline next week.
Next
week. Planet Comic-Con is where I'll be. And so very excited to see that and just take it in and, thank the employees, get to know them a little bit. Because honestly, one of my favorite things when I go to the parks is getting to know the cast members.
Yeah.
Because they're, I do my thing behind the scenes. We do our thing behind the scenes, but they're doing it every day.
Yeah.
They're making those experiences for everybody. And I just think that's so special because you walk away, maybe you have the luxury of one Disney trip in your life and that's it. But those memories are going to stay with you for a lifetime.
For sure.
And so I always hand it to cast members. And anytime I go to these places, I'm just so thankful that they're doing what they're doing and continuing that legacy that Walt created.
Me too. Yeah. This is years ago. I had occasion. It was at Disney something. I won't say Land or World because the person was. Anyway, I was standing there talking, getting my picture taken, and it was one of those things like a photo op where you stop there and there's a toadstool you can sit on, and here's Pooh or a honey pot, and there's Pooh and Tigger, and they're both there, and I would dare say they all recognize me. And they're jumping up and down there, and they can't say anything.
Yeah.
They can't say a word because it's completely taboo.
It's like the best and the worst day of your life.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I'm meeting a legend and I can't say anything.
I know. They just can't say. They can't do a damn thing. And so and I went up and I said, "Shall we take pictures together?" And they're shaking their heads up. They're about to lose their heads, and so we did it, and they're both all doing this, and I go, "Stop doing that."
You mean the pals of the characters?
Yeah, the people in costume.
Oh wait, there's people in costume?
They work for Disney.
What?
Anyway, but no,
I'm going to keep the magic alive.
I didn't mean
Jim's
it was
like that.
No, but no, it was just people in costume. Anyway, and I said, well, it's so nice to meet you, and they're all doing this kind of mime bullshit response, and I go, it's okay. I mean, I know you're in there. It's okay. And the guy goes, we're not allowed to talk. I'm so happy right now. I can't even. I'm gonna pee. And I said, okay, well, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We're gonna take some pictures here, and you just tell everybody that we chatted. I can't. All right. Well, then don't. Then I don't want to get you fired because you're doing a great job here.
You don't want Pooh peeing himself.
Yeah. We don't want Pooh peeing himself. No one No one would like that.
Pooh pees himself. That's ironic.
And it was actually Tigger. I think it was Tigger. But we ended up taking a bunch of pictures together, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I brought my Emmy to Disney World, and
good,
because I wanted to get some pictures with the duck, with the man himself, with the boss. Sure. And so I brought it out.
The guy with the in costume.
Yeah, that guy. I think it was actually Donald, but yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. And so I brought that out, and we took some pictures and video, and Donald kept coming out, like probably about 3 or 4 times, and excited every single time because
Because why not?
I think it might have been other people jumping in.
Yeah, they're switching out.
So that was just that was so funny to me. But
that's funny. Yeah. That's
anytime I go to the parks, I love to meet with Donald. When it was his 90th birthday recently, I sang him happy birthday in the voice.
Oh, that's good.
That was one of the videos on TikTok that did pretty well. But anytime I go, I just get to say hi to the boss, and that's always nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't make myself inconspicuous. I wear a Donald shirt, and I tell people, hey, I'm here. If you want to come see me, please come say hi.
That's cool.
That means the world to me. If I can be there for somebody and do the voice and have that connection. I get it at conventions, but if I'm at the park, what better place to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Everybody there's going to love that.
I think I love it the most, though. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I
Especially when you're in queue with somebody and they don't know who you are, but then somebody nudges them and says, "Hey, you know this?"
Yeah, yeah.
And then they go, "What?" And then they turn around and go, "My friend says this. Do the voice."
Yeah, do the voice.
Yeah.
Always.
And then I go,
What voice? What are you talking about?
Yeah. And they go, no, not that one.
"Yeah."
I thought you did Goofy.
Yeah.
No.
No, Goofy's my favorite. Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah. I've had that. Jess Arnell tells a story about that. This kid was wearing a Wacko Warner T-shirt in line, and he was down in
That's one of my favorites that he does.
World Disney somewhere, and his mom, God rest her soul, she said, "Well, you have to tell this little guy. You have to tell him. He's right in front of you in line. You're in line. He's in front of you. He's 11 years old. He's wearing your T-shirt. You got to do it." And of course, Jess looks like a rock star because he's a rock star.
He is a rock star.
And so he said, "Well, my mom wanted me to tell you that." Anyway, my name's Jess. How you doing, buddy? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and I do that voice that I do the Warner brother that you have there, and he goes, "Do you?" No. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean I do it like I sound like the guy. I'm the guy. I actually like when you hear the cartoon, it's me talking. He goes,
"Okay, buddy."
Of course it is. and he said, "No, I really." And now all of a sudden he's fighting for his life just to be himself. And his mother said, "Dad, and he said, "Well, it's nice to run into. This is my bad wacko that I'm doing here." And he goes, the kid, and Jess is sitting there trying to. No. I said, look it's a this and that, and oh my goodness, blah blah blah. And he goes, "That's pretty good." And he goes, "What do you mean it's pretty good? Listen, you little shit." And it's like all of a sudden you're mad, pissed off at an 11-year-old. Anyway, never mind. Enjoy your ride. Yeah.
I hope you ride the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
No respect. No.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me.
Someone walks up to your booth and goes, "I don't really think that's you."
Oh yeah. Well, so far so good.
Okay, good.
I think their parents have got them indoctrinated.
Maybe.
I would think.
Although every time he and I are at a con together, his line is incredibly long.
Oh, yeah.
And I just look at the people in his line with a wistful look.
Yeah.
You could be over here.
Full of whist.
Come to me.
No. Well, we're not worried about that.
I was at a
Doc will
convention
always
one
do.
time with Jim because we'll take this on the road, and do the podcast on the road. And I'm sitting over there at his table one time, and this guy comes up and he's looking at all the pictures, and he looks at one and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were Fuzzy Lumpkins. I didn't like that guy." And Jim's "Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me."
Yeah. Thanks for coming up.
Get your little ass on out of here, then. Tell your story walking there, Junior.
That's right.
That was fuzzy, by the way.
Or do people ever come up to you and they have like a script and they're like, "Hey, could you just
yeah.
read this?
Absolutely.
Read this for me?" And it's like, no, I'm not going to read a
not
script.
right now.
Yeah.
Not right
I'll
now.
get a cameo, like a 3-page cameo, and then say as Pooh, and then say as Tigger, and then they're going down the line, and I go, no.
Yeah, and there's like 400 people behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And there are limits to what we can and can't do, you know, in those circumstances, because we don't own those characters.
or will and will not tolerate.
And we're not doing impressions where we can just kind of do anything. Like, we have to be mindful of our overlords wherever they may be. And that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, that's an odd thing. Can you do one of my favorites? Can you do the noise of Winnie the Pooh? And I said, no, I can't do not the noise of Winnie the Pooh.
What's the noise of Winnie the Pooh?
I think it's just him talking. But it was, do the noise of Winnie the Pooh. And the mom says, yeah, he just means the voice. And I go, oh, bother. Yeah, don't bother. Yeah.
No, my favorite is when, usually in Transformers, because I voiced Starscream in 2007, one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite franchises.
And rightly so.
Oh my gosh. And people will walk up and say, you did Starscream, right? And I say, yes, human, I did Starscream. And they go, I liked Chris Latta. And then they walk away and I'm like, well, I did too. Why is that the end of the conversation?
Why was he the original?
Yeah, he was the original.
Yeah, I worked with him once, a long time ago.
He was amazing.
Yeah,
he really was.
Crazy,
and I've come to know his daughter Abby.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had an amazing story actually. When I first got here, I was at Rob Paulson's Talkin' Toon'd, and it was when they were still doing it live, and so everybody was there, just royalty across the board, and of course me, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these people, so starstruck. And at the end of it, I'm standing in a semicircle with a bunch of people, and I'm telling this story about how I was invited to this little town in Sharon, Pennsylvania, to sign some autographs for Transformers. And
little town in Sharon, Pennsylvania, because Sharon is a little town.
It was Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Okay, there we go.
And
I know it well.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's not far from Youngstown.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right across the border.
They had a marching band waiting for me. They had it in the newspaper.
Damn.
And I'm like, little old me. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we signed the things, and I go to this super fan Mark's house. He had a Transformers museum in his basement, and it was incredible. And we're having dinner with his family, and he's bringing some stuff out for me to sign. And he brings out the vinyl album from the 86 The Transformers the movie, signed by everybody, and I think including you, with a pen. And he hands it to me, and I went, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't work on that. This is sacrilege to me. And he said, I've never met anybody who's done the voice of Starscream before, and it would just mean the world to me if you would.
Yeah, you can put your name in the character.
I thought about it for a minute, because I'm like, I'm touching this thing that to me, as a collector, as a Transformers fan, is just like a holy grail. And so I said, okay, I will sign it for Chris. And I signed it, and I did a big gulp. Oh, I can't believe I did that, but I handed it to him. And I'm telling this story outside of Talkin' Toon'd, and this girl across from me is starting to cry, and I'm like, why? And she said, Chris was my dad.
Oh, look at that.
Chris was my dad. And so we became fast friends. Yeah. We had a group together called the Green Giraffes. Go Green Giraffes. Green Giraffes. We were just voiceover people that would meet every week just to go over copy, and we'd do improv and stuff. And all of us have kind of gone off and done our own things. But yeah, she was a part of that too.
We need to get the Green Giraffes back together.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Green Giraffes also included Jan Johns, who I think you know. She's done a lot of the Disney stuff. She and I worked together in Maryland, and now here in LA. So
nice.
Very cool.
Small world.
It is.
Small world.
But I wouldn't want to paint it.
That might take some time.
Not that small. Not that small. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, thanks, man. I'm so glad you made it here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think we have a little something called a voice swap, don't we?
It's voice swap.
Today's voice swap with none other than you know who is sponsored by Route 66 Car Museum in Springfield, Missouri. You got to love this place. It's got the coolest cars in the world. Maybe even the Batmobile.
That's right.
The Batmobile.
He has the Batmobile.
Has the Batmobile. And doesn't he have the Ghostbusters car too?
I think the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters.
And the freaking coolest cars you've ever seen.
From like the 30s and the 40s. Like
and you don't know, I never even heard of the manufacturer. Like one was called the Breed of something, and it was from other countries, and then some were from here, but they were only in business for like from 1920 to 1924. Oh my gosh! And these unbelievable cars, and I think one of them had wood, wasn't it? I think like it had
like the wood paneling.
Yeah, the wood paneling.
Does Jay Leno own all of them?
No, he doesn't. But boy, he owns the ones out in Burbank Airport.
Yeah. No, it was always wild when he would come out for sessions and he'd park his ridiculously large cars in that tiny parking lot.
Yeah. And
it's my favorite car. Bring it in, you know what I mean, buddy?
Yeah. And he would bring it in. And I remember I was helping him get out once, and I go, okay, stop. And he goes, no, I got room. No, you don't. No, because you.
Is that when he took out the wood panel?
Yes, that's when he took out the wood panel. He did it right in front of me. I go, I told you to stop. He goes, it's just a slide. They can put a. Yeah. And well, that's what I was going to say.
Did you know he's never had an agent in his whole career?
What?
He's never had an agent.
I think that's why he only wears blue jeans.
Probably.
Blue jean shirts and blue jeans.
Blue jeans.
But yeah, I did this game show. I was a contestant on a game show that he was hosting. And just like in the breaks, it was during COVID, so there was like 12 of us. So we got like actually like interpersonal time with him for like 3 hours. It was pretty cool. And he was like, yeah, somebody asked him, like, how did you, break into the industry? And I forget the specifics, but he was like, yeah, I booked this. And then I never even bothered getting an agent. I just kept getting work.
That's like, amazing.
What? You don't even realize how crazy that
went into all of
is.
His cars.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, his 10% is his car collection.
Wow. Boy, that is insane. And to this day, I mean...
To this day, that was only, 4 or 5 years ago?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Nuts.
Oh, man.
But anyway, without further ado...
That's cool.
Shall we get into these voice swaps? I was thinking,
yes,
since you guys have characters that interact so frequently, maybe we could switch this up a little bit and have like a little conversation, like a little back and forth between Pete and Donald.
Ooh.
What do you guys think about
like that?
Yeah?
But the question's who's doing Pete?
Yes. Donald and Pete.
Yeah, let's do a little, like a conversation rather than a voice swap. Like a little.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, quackers, it's like I was saying just the other day. What the heck are you saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that when you ask me what I'm saying, I don't know if you know what I'm saying, that it's
Well, that clears it up.
why are you looking at me that way?
So you said, would you take him hooking him?
No, I said, what do you mean you're looking at me that way when I'm saying the thing that I'm saying,
No.
That was painful. that was good. And so let's see, Stripes and Taz.
Now you worked on Gremlins, didn't you? If I remember correctly, you weren't in the Gremlin squad. I thought I remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
Well, I should have been.
Yeah. Well, Stripe was originally voiced by Frank Welker, so that was a little interesting tie in there.
Yeah, well, Frank's fine.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
But let's do Grimace and Tigger.
Tigger, have you been to McDonald's for a Happy Meal?
Oh, no, Tiggers have Happy Meals no matter where they go. They don't even have to go to McDougal's. They just are happy. They're happy as long as Tiggers are bouncing. Do you feel me there, buddy boy?
I feel like bouncing for sure.
Well, my work here is done.
Buy my shake. I gotta do the camera. Buy my shake.
And who else? Now, what? Starscream and Pooh? Do we do?
Ooh,
Starscream and Pooh.
Starpoo.
But then we also have to do Starscream and one of your Transformer characters.
Oh, okay.
'Cause that'd be
so
cool.
we better not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Afterburner. Afterburner.
right.
Yeah.
Ariel
Afterburner would just be. And I can't remember what he sounded like.
I think it was just me, and he was ready to go. And he's, hi, I'm Afterburner, damn it. Off. That's where I'm pissed.
Okay. I'm pissed off. Did I just do it? I hope not.
No.
Okay, good.
Here, I'll start that one if you want.
Okay, please.
Oh, look, an Autobot that flies. My favorite.
I hope you're talking to me, Afterburner, because I'm my favorite too. So take that, suckbutt.
Well, I'm going to make myself a combiner of my own since you formed Superion. I'll create Bruticus. And he's going to kick your butt.
Why do bad guys always laugh?
It's in the contract.
It's in the contract.
You got to leave them laughing when you leave them.
That's right.
And then let's just do a Starscream and a Pooh, but just like a quote, like the traditional old voice swap.
Do we want to do dueling poos? Because mine's terrible.
Let's do it. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do dueling Poos.
Okay.
Would you like to share poo?
Would you like to fling poo with me?
Oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
As long as you don't do it very well.
No, I don't think I do it very well. I just try.
Well, that's true. Thank goodness I got some job security over here.
Oh, there's always another Tigger in the house.
Good night, everybody.
We're going to bounce on the couch. We're bouncing.
We're going to spend the rest of the podcast trying to get my buddy out of his shell. Trying to get you to step up.
Gotta do
that was
something,
great.
man. Keep the viewers engaged.
Well, thank you again so much for being here. That was a really fun
Thank
conversation. And of course, you're welcome back whenever.
Absolutely. I'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
we won't.
Well, don't do that
beyond
because
a
we
pleasure.
won't be.
Sincerely, beyond a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for watching. And this
Stuff like that.
this guy's incredible.
Tune
Part of
in
my
and
childhood,
subscribe.
part of yours. This podcast is amazing. Keep watching.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Completely
much.
unsolicited.
Completely.
Here's that $5.
Take that from. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. This was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We love all of you guys, but we've noticed that 73% of the people watching right now are not subscribed. So yes, I'm talking to you. Hit that subscribe button, and of course, big shout out.
You're not subscribed.
That's what I'm saying,
That's
Donald.
awful.
I know.
What's your big idea?
What he said.
And of course, a big shout out to everybody that's supporting on Patreon. If you didn't know, we have bonus content on Patreon. We do giveaways, clothing giveaways, some of which that you can buy on Shopify. On Jim Cummings Closet on Shopify. That's the store. You can check it out. There's merchandise there. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff there. And on Patreon.
I'm in Jim Cummings' closet and he won't let me out.
And on Patreon, you can find bonus content, additional interviews, extended interviews, exclusive interviews, all that good stuff. We're giving shout outs to all our donors. And I think that just about does it for today. I'm producer Chris, legend Jim Cummings, joined by Daniel Ross today. Thank you so much for being here again. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye, everybody.
Perf.
Great.
Great.
Awesome, guys.
Bloody great.
That was
isn't it?
good fun.
That was fun. Thank you so much. Hey, if you'd like to follow me, I'm across social media as actor Daniel Ross. I hope you'll give me a follow. I have lots of fun, do stuff at Disney, make lots of silly voices. It's a fun ordeal. You should follow.